Hey, shalom to the hopeful elect. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone who teach the truth and rule well. This is the brother Yatab Allah coming back from the GMS SF Bay Area camp. And I got a quick lesson today. All right, Lord's will is edifying. But just going into prophecy, all right, mainly the second death or the lake of fire. And yes, it is talking about Babylon, all right, which if you can receive it, Babylon is spiritual name for America, okay? It's code, if you will. And you got groups out there saying that the lake of fire is not talking about America, all right, which clearly they're going off, all right? Now, again, we say, and like the scriptures say, if you can receive it, okay, because this is by faith, and nobody can make you believe, you know, the things that are written in the scriptures, but they're there, all right. And you know, from our apostles and elders on down, they have been given the Rachak Wadash to have the correct doctrine, all right, the 100% doctrine. And that's why the scriptures say we got to continue in the things thou hast learned. Now again, you have groups saying that this isn't talking about America, when clearly, all right, when you go precept upon precept, it is talking about America. All right, now let me start with this. This is Revelation 20 and 11. All right, and this is the great judgment to come. All right, the second death, and it's going to get into it. And yes, it's going to be over here in America. That main destruction, all right, thermonuclear destruction, where it talks about, you know, fire and brimstone, the lake of fire, that's over here in America. All right, Revelation 20 and 11, and I saw a great white throne and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before the Most High, and the books were opened. And another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. Hey, what does it say? We shall be saved by our faith and by our works. And consequently, you're going to be judged by your works as well. And the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works. And death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. All right, and again, this is the times we're approaching. All right, this is the second death. The first death, okay, was the great flood. The second death is this thermonuclear destruction, also known as a lake of fire. And it is here in America. Okay, now real quick, because it says whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast in the lake of fire, and they're going to be judged according to their works. One of the main works, all right, showing that you don't believe, or showing that, you know, you are worthy to partake in that nuclear destruction, is if you take that MOTB. All right, Revelation 14 and 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right, again, this is that fire. That great fire is that thermonuclear destruction. All right, if you take that MOTB and you're over here in America, you're going to be fuel for the nuclear fire. And then not only are you going to be destroyed, you're going to be destroyed in the presence of the angels and Yahweh Shai coming back. All right. Now, again, that's one of the main works, evil works, that it shows if you are worthy to partake in that nuclear fire. All right. Now, let me jump over here. This is Jeremiah 50, and I'll go straight to the point. You know, this is all talking about Babylon. All right. Now, how do we know this is talking about America? Because through the Rachak Wadash, which is the Holy Spirit, it's been revealed. All right, the ancient Babylon wasn't fully destroyed. It wasn't fully made desolate. This is New Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. All right, Babylon, which, let me read it real quick, means confusion. And what is America? The land of confusion. Jeremiah 50 and 23 or 22, a sound of battles is in the land of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Which is another spiritual clue. All right, a characteristic, the hammer of the whole earth. Who's the hammer of the whole earth? Who goes around pushing their military complex? Who has bases in just about every part of the world. All right? Who is every nation scared of? Big bad America. All right? And this is how you know it's talking about America. It says, how has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right? Now, again, when you get that word for Babylon, goes back to Babal, H894, confusion. All right? Babel or Babylon, the ancient site or capital of Babylonia, modern Hilla, situated in the Euphrates, which that is still there. All right, this place is about to be utterly destroyed. All right, now again, confusion. America is that land of confusion. Look at everything that's pushed here. All right, I mean, just look at the presidential picks every 4 years. You got blue, you got red, you got people who are for a whole bunch of nasty stuff. Then you got people who are so-called more conservative. You know, it's just a whole bunch of madness going back and forth, and it's a whole bunch of confusion. You can believe in any religion here. All right, you can believe anything you want. You could do anything you want, just about. All right, and this place is with it. But what does that represent? Confusion. Okay. It says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord. And again, this is the number one place against the Lord. All right. The actions and the words speak for itself. The Lord hath opened up his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. All right. Now again, what is that armory? What are the weapons of his indignation? All right. Thermonuclear missiles, warheads. Real quick, I believe it's Isaiah 13. Yep, Babylon. Actually, let me just read this. You know, this isn't what I wanted, but this is spirit. Where is it? Yeah. See, this is all talking about Babylon. All right, Isaiah 13:1, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. All right, now let me just get straight to the point. It says, Babylon will fall to the Medes, verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes, and the modern day Medes are the Russians, against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. And this is big because, you know, America is known for this. They're known for being what is that called? A great big importer of foreign goods, meaning they buy and they stimulate a lot of different countries' economies by bringing in their goods. Now, it's going to get to that point where none of that's going to matter. All right, you can see the talking points between the Russians right now. All right, even though, you know, Trump is supposedly trying to play, you know, the go in between, trying to come for peace. But it's going to get to the point where Russia is going to just say, hey, fuck it. All right. Because really, this is the Lord's plan. It says, their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And again, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Fire and brimstone. All right. That same destruction. All right. Now it's wrapped up in what? A nuclear warhead, which again, the Lord put this on the spirit of these scientists to make, which I wanted to grab that. Let me look that up real quick. You know, because this is all the Lord's plan. All right. But let me finish this. It says, and it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it dwell in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the island shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces, and her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And again, you know, you could still see where Babylon is. All right, there's people still over there. All right. Now, whether there's a lot, I mean, you know, no. But this is talking about America. America is going to be ultimately destroyed. All right. Fully destroyed, where there's not going to be anything but unclean creatures. It says the Arabian is not even going to pitch tent there. Okay? This is how bad it's going to get. And this is how you know it's talking about America. All right? Now, this is what I wanted to get in Isaiah 54 and 16. And it says, Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire and bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy. Now, again, we read that what the Lord is going to use his weapons of indignation. And he put it on the minds of these scientists to create these nuclear warheads. All right? Why? To do his work. Okay? It's his will to destroy Babylon. All right? Now jump back to Jeremiah 50. It says, 50 and 25 again, it says, The Lord Yahweh Shem Shai hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. Come up against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. And again, this is what's going to happen. All right, ancient Babylon was just assimilated into the I believe the Persian kingdom. All right. Now, what's going to happen this time? What does it say? Destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Slay all her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. All right. It says, the voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon to declare in Zion. And again, this is code. All right. We know this isn't talking about ancient Babylon, because ancient Babylon just assimilated into those empires that took it over. Okay. It wasn't utterly destroyed. So this is code. If you can understand, that's why again we say, if you can receive it, if the Spirit is dealing with you, if you can get this understanding, Babylon, all right, as it talks about for the future destruction, okay, is talking about America. All right. It says to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our power, the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against Babylon. All ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. And this is talking about something bigger than a bow and arrow. This is talking about nuclear missiles. And what's that bow that is being bent? Those silos. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work. And again, what is her work? She was that hammer upon the whole earth. A military complex pushing confusion. All right, that Babylon juice, democracy, capitalism. All right, which abomination. It says, recompense her according to her work, according to all that she had done. Do unto her, for she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. And this is what America is known for, going against the Lord, being adversarial. All right, in the stead of Satan. That's what it does. Everything that the Lord has set up, America does the exact opposite. All right. Yep. You can read the rest of this. Jeremiah 50 and 51 goes into it. All right. But let me jump over here. Revelation 18. And this is the New Testament. And again, what does it say? Lament for Babylon. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her. And again, why is this? Because America's been that cash cow. All right. Importing everything. All these different kings and nations getting money. It says, shall bewail her and lament for her. It says, damn. You know what? I got to start from the top. Salak. Revelation 18 and 1. And it says Babylon is fallen. It says, after these things I saw an angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen. All right. And again, this is future. All right. Future prophecy. This was Revelation. This was John the Revelator talking about Babylon. Why is he talking about Babylon? If it was the old Babylon, why would he be talking about Babylon again? All right. Hey, they were already in the Roman captivity by that time. That Babylon captivity, the ancient Babylon and Neo Babylon had already passed. So this is talking about a new Babylon, Babylon the Great, America. It says Babylon the Great is fallen, has become the habitations of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right. Given into those philosophies and given into, because America has all these, what is it called? Loans and basically freebies. If you do what they want, if you promote, alphabet agenda, you can get, more money. All right. And what do these kings do? What do these different nations do? They bow down. They do whatever America tells them because they want that money. All right. It says, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partaker of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And the elect are going to be part of this. All right. Lord's will would be of that number. The elect are going to be saved out of this destruction. People always go by and say, oh, well, if America's going to be destroyed, where are you going to go? Well, Lord's will, we going up. All right. Lord's will. Again, we read earlier how you're going to be judged off your works. Lord's will, our works go hand in hand with our faith and believing in Yahushua and believing the promises. All right. And not taking that sea hit. Because again, that's one of the main characteristics or main signs to show that you're going to be nuclear fuel. Okay. It says, and that you receive not of her plagues, and the ultimate plague being this destruction. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she had rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Yeah, and America's, especially the people are in this mindset. All right, that they can't be touched. All right. Hey, but America's about to get touched. It's going to be a ravaged. All right. It says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. All right. So you want to talk about the lake of fire? This is it. For strong is the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai who judgeth her. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Why? Because they're not going to be getting no money anymore. All right. Standing afar off for fear of her torment, alas, saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. That's how long it's going to take to destroy this place. 1 hour. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. All right. Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, but again, what are we reading? This is about Babylon, Babylon the Great. Okay, and who is it talking about? What is this talking about? It's talking about America. If you can receive it, all right. Joel 2:1, blow ye the trumpet in Zion and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. And this is what we're warning our people. All right, we're warning our people to repent, turn to the Lord, all right, and in hopes to be saved from this destruction. Hey, this is one of the other things we need salvation from. It says a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong. There hath not ever been the like, neither shall be any more after it, even in the years of many generations. Yeah, because there's not going to be a nuclear destruction like this. All right, you're not going to see a whole continent or a landmass being utterly burnt to flame, to desert, to nothing. It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. All right, and again, America does have a lot of beautiful places. You have a lot of beautiful sceneries, but in the end, it has to be destroyed because it is a polluted land. All right, and this is going to be made an example. Okay. Yeah, it just goes into the nukes, all right, and how none of them are gonna miss their mark. All right, but let me just end off on this sake of time. I'm already at 20 minutes. Jeremiah 23 and 27. All right, and it's like 23 and 7. It says, therefore, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that they shall no more say, the Lord liveth, which brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. All right, which again, that's still talked about to this day. All right, that great salvation that happened in the land of Egypt. But the Lord liveth, which brought up and which led the seed of the house of Israel out of the north country, and from all countries whither I had driven them, and they shall dwell in their own land. All right, and again, this salvation is going to be talked about. All right, it's going to supersede. All right, the salvation of Egypt, this great salvation coming in this land, America. The north country is talking about America again, if you can receive it. All right, and why is the Lord going to lead His people? In this time, it's the elect out of America, because it's going to be destroyed, and the elect are going to need salvation. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Lord's will, this is edifying. Like I said, it's evident. If the Spirit is dealing with you, all right, the scriptures say what? The elect have obtained it and the rest were blinded. If you can receive it, the lake of fire, that second death, this thermonuclear, is a thermonuclear destruction happening over here in the land of America. Don't let any of these bug outs try and, give you a false breakdown, because that's what you see going on right now. A lot of false prophets, false teachers giving heed to all these seducing spirits and butchering the doctrine. All right, hey, we got to just continue what we've learned and understand and know that, hey, this is the place that's about to be burnt up. All right, America. But again, Lord's will, this is edifying. Once again, I want to give all honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders at Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect, and a ball.